image of the championship belt as we take a look at Julian Love interacting with the fans here, because it reminds me of that picture from the Seahawks locker room during the Legion of Boom days when General Manager John Schneider took his shirt off and put that championship WWE belt around his waist. And speaking of the GM and Schneider, this is a guy that the players love. Earlier this season, Derek Hall was suspended for one game for allegedly intentionally stepping on a Rams offensive lineman, and they appealed that suspension, and it was denied. And at the very next game, John Schneider showed up with a Derek Hall jersey on underneath his blazer in support of his linebacker. Wow. And of course, Schneider was wearing a t-shirt with Paul Allen's image on it during Super Bowl week as well.
Yeah. Paying
homage to the late owner. And it's just one more reason, and I asked the players about it all Super Bowl week, one more reason why they all love their GM, because he is just as invested in this team as they are.
And that means a lot, especially because we know there is divides between, you know, the business front office side sometimes of organizations, and it can be polarizing. And this is certainly not the case. Whoa, what's going on up there? Wow.
No, the fans everywhere.
Spider-Man.
Stay safe, my friend. Stay safe. Take it all in as we've been doing this for hours now on end. This celebration keeps on going here. Now we are watching it live, just as you are at home, and it looks really cool. Just the community, everybody moving through on the vehicles, the military armor, and the double-decker buses. The family, the friends of the players, the coaches, and you know we are back here outside Lumen Field watching this on a monitor as this parade starts to wrap up. But behind us, there's a huge line in the north parking lot, and folks are waiting in that line to take pictures with what's maybe a knockoff trophy or a trophy that's the one that you take pictures with, because they want to celebrate too. And I suspect that some of these people here, guys, are the people that were in Lumen Field for that trophy ceremony, and they just said, I don't need to see it. We just saw everything in the stadium, so we're going to get a picture with the trophy, but we don't need to see the parade.
We have 22 reporters out along the parade route. We have 30 cameras from every possible angle, and we're bringing it all to you here on Fox 13 today as we capture this moment in Seattle history, and this is just breathtaking. so many of the players have decided to jump off their rides and just celebrate with the fans, which is just so cool.
I believe we saw Jackson Smith and Jigba leading a Seahawks chant a couple of seconds ago, along with the rest of the wide receiving corps on one of the vehicles, and it reminds me of the first Super Bowl championship team, that wide receiver corps that really played with a chip on their shoulder because they said that everybody called them pedestrian. And yet, going into this season, everybody questioned whether Jackson Smith and Jigba could be a #1 receiver with DK Metcalf going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They bring over Cooper Kupp, a player who the Rams actually asked to retire. And he said no, he wanted to keep playing, and he ended up here in his home state of Washington.
And wins another Super Bowl for Seattle. That's great.
Cooper Kupp and Jackson Smith and Jigba, the only players to win Offensive Player of the Year, lead the league in receiving yards, and go on to win a Super Bowl title.
I mean, how good does it feel to be Cooper Kupp?
Pretty amazing.
I mean, that is an amazing story. You know, you kind of
wearing a Mariners jersey.
Yeah, and you always want to end on your own time and do your own thing. And this guy seems to be doing it, and the organization has allowed that to happen.
You also think of the other receivers in that receiving corps, from Rashid Shaheed, who you saw earlier, to Derek Young, who came up with that big fumble recovery on a muff punt in the NFC Championship game when Xavier Smith muffed that punt. And on the very next play, who caught the touchdown, his only touchdown in the entire season? Jake Bobo.
That's right.
There wasn't necessarily more Bobo, but there was quality or clutch Bobo in that moment.
This is a day for the 12s, and such a special day, such a special moment. And 12, such a powerful number.
You know, we talk about how this team might not be the same next year. No team is ever the same from year to year, and there are a number of unrestricted free agents that the team will have to deal with, from Kenneth Walker III, the Super Bowl MVP, to your two starting cornerbacks in Josh Jobe and Reek Woolen. A number of other players as well, JSN and Devin Witherspoon, going into the final year of their rookie contracts, will both want extensions. The Seahawks fortunately have a significant amount of money to spend. They have salary cap space. You have to think a lot of that space will be going toward keeping some of their players in town for a number of years to come.
And no doubt they're going to do what they can to keep some of these key players around, but attrition is almost certain on a team with this much success, because not only will these players be sought after, but the Seahawks now have a target on their back.
The Seahawks will also be sought after by many free agents, though. Word gets around the league, and the way this organization is run from the top down, there was... We take a look at Jarran Reed, and it's appropriate because I was just about to tell a story about Reed, who direct messaged Cooper Kupp at the beginning, before Kupp was acquired, and said, hey man, we'd love to have you here. We're about to do something special. And Cooper Kupp just posted that on X a couple of days ago, that it was a direct message from before Kupp signed here.
And Jarran Reed is the one connection from LOB to this new generation. He played at the very end of the LOB era in Seattle, and here he is, a key player on the 2025 Super Bowl team.
And on that note, I do have to give a special shout out to Tyler Lockett, who is clear here in spirit. Lockett was unfortunately not a member of this year's team, but he was drafted the year after their last Super Bowl appearance, and then the team parted ways with him the year before their next Super Bowl appearance, and yet he was such an instrumental player and one of the best receivers in Seahawks franchise history. His best friend, Quandre Diggs, is currently on the Seahawks practice squad and will be getting a Super Bowl ring, and was able to celebrate with the Lombardi. And Quandre told me last week that he spoke with Tyler, and Tyler was definitely rooting for the Seahawks in the Super Bowl on Sunday.
He tweeted as much right after they won, saying, Go Hawks. Heard from Russell Wilson as well,
who was at the Super Bowl on Sunday. Also a cool moment talking to safety Kobe Bryant last week, who was asked about the dark side defense and what it meant to him for them to be able to establish their own identity as a defense. And he said that's what's so special about this team, is that they have been able to make it their own and come out of the shadows of yesteryear. So many people associate the Seahawks with that Legion of Boom defense, which essentially put the Seahawks on the map 12 years ago. And now they're doing it again with a completely different identity.
And equally effective and equally tenacious. Jackson Smith and Jigba. 1,700 plus receiving yards this season. Offensive Player of the Year.
That is my mom.
Interesting too with JSN that there were a lot of questions. Could he be a legit #1 in this Seahawk offense? What to expect with a new quarterback in Sam Darnold? And Sam Darnold came in and said, well, we have so much talent on offense. All I have to do is play point guard and just get the ball in their hands. That's exactly what he did. We see what happened. Sam Darnold catching a pass. Well, almost.
That's why he's quarterback. But I will say this, what a last 4 days it's been for Sam Darnold, winning a Super Bowl on Sunday, then flying to Los Angeles with Ken Walker III on Monday to be part of a Main Street parade at Disneyland. There's
Mickey
a viral video of not only on the float, but then taking a ride on the teacups at Disneyland.
Right. I love on the float that they kind of put their hands out like a Seahawk and floated, you know.
Exactly.
And I'm glad that they went to Disneyland in Southern Cal instead of having to trek it across the country to Disney World.
West Coast Super Bowl means Disneyland instead of Disney World, and then Darnold flew back up to Seattle in time to be an honorary employee for Raising Cane yesterday. New fast food restaurant that's opening up next week, and
They even put him to work in the kitchen.
and celebrating with the city of Seattle today in a championship parade. Imagine what Sam Darnold would have thought if you had told him 2 years ago that he would be the starting quarterback winning a Super Bowl instead of the backup quarterback losing a Super Bowl with the San Francisco 49ers, and if any other team would give him another chance. And that's exactly what the Minnesota Vikings did a year later.
Resilience, man. You have to believe. He's believing in it, and he got that chance. Sometimes people don't get that chance, or they maybe vary, you know, what they think that they can do, and he kind of stayed the course. And you got to believe in yourself, and you found another person to believe in it.
It takes a special person to have that much resilience, though. I mean, to go through that much adversity, to be written off as a bust, and to know that, and to get these opportunities and to hang around the game as a backup and be okay with that. You get an opportunity here or there, but then you get the opportunity in Minnesota, you make the most of it, and then you have that playoff game that he wants to forget, and then getting another chance in Seattle. And this time, he comes away with the Super Bowl championship ring.
You know what I admire the most about Sam Darnold? not once has he ever said, "I told you so."
Right.
He has been soft-spoken. You rarely see that in this day and age of professional sports. Not a knock on Geno Smith. We all loved it when he said, you know, they wrote me off, but I didn't write back. Kirk Cousins with the, "you like that." You didn't hear anything from Sam Darnold this whole way through, not even now when he's a Super Bowl champion. He's kept it to himself, and as many of his teammates call him, he's just a dude.
Yeah, and they absolutely love Sam Darnold.
They do.
I mean, to a man. Even when the chips were down this season, after that 4-interception game, and the questions returned about his effectiveness and his ability to navigate the team in tough situations. Boy, did he respond in a big way. And I think you go back to that Thursday night game against the Rams, where he led them back. You know, I mean, obviously Rashid's kick return helped them a lot, but it was Sam Darnold in those clutch moments to get it done, get us past the Rams, and give us a real chance at being the #1 seed and getting back into the Super Bowl.
Just think about some of the sports moments that Seattle has been able to celebrate over the course of the last 6 months, 7 months. You go back to August when the Sounders won Leagues Cup in front of an attendance record crowd at Lumen Field, beating Lionel Messi and Inter Miami. And then a month and a half later, the Mariners clinching not only a playoff spot, but then that Game 5 ALDS against the Detroit Tigers, 15 innings. Jorge Polanco walk-off game winner, the electricity inside T-Mobile Park. And then a couple weeks later, Game 5 ALCS, Cal Raleigh's home run in the bottom of the 8th inning ties it against the Blue Jays 2-2. And then Gino Suarez, the not walk-off, but grand slam home run in the bottom of the 8th. Feeling the energy inside that stadium. And then you mentioned it, Bill, that Thursday night football game that really was a game changer for the Hawks this season. To come back, win that in overtime, 38-37. Some of the best atmospheres I have ever experienced in this city. And then for them to host a divisional playoff game and an NFC championship game against the Rams, win both those games, and now celebrate a Super Bowl championship in this fashion. It doesn't get better than that.
And after winning it in Levi's Stadium, we forgot to put the topper on there.
Absolutely. I mean, just the way Aaron describes it about the Seahawks celebrating, smoking cigars, and partying inside the 49ers home locker room, aside from the Seahawks confetti all over the field at Levi's Stadium. I mean, that is desecration of the home of your arch rival. And that's pretty sweet.
I've always said that things happen for a reason. It certainly worked out that way this season.
Yeah. Shot from the Space Needle high up above to those glass floors, the revolving floors, seeing everything, what it looks like down in the city right outside of the Space Needle. I mean, just still massive amounts of people around celebrating and saying, hey, thanks everyone for this great day. Thanks Seahawks, thanks for the blue skies and bringing us all together to share these moments. And not a bad view from pretty much anywhere, I think. If you were on the ground and you were walking the parade, or if you were up on one of the buildings out on the perches, you got to see something really electrifying moving through.
what I'll really appreciate about this parade in particular is seeing so many of the players getting out of the vehicles and interacting with the fans who clearly loved it, taking selfies with them, signing autographs as the 12s flag. It's pretty much.
Oh, Lumenfield parking garage.
Flag has pretty much been everywhere, up and down the West Coast for the past week and a half.
Even a flyover over the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco on Super Bowl Sunday, thanks to a $30,000 crowdfunding effort by the 12s themselves. Amazing. Yeah, it's a special day here in Seattle, no question about it. It is a day for the 12s, and I was doing a deep dive into the significance of the number 12, because I remember back when it was the 12th man, and we were saying we're the 12th man, and then Texas A&M said no, you can't have that moniker, it's ours, and there was a short court battle, and then we said, you know what, we'll be the 12s, and the 12s is appropriate because 12 is central to so many things. If you think about it, in astrology, the 12th house is considered the gateway to transcendence. You talk about 12 zodiac signs. There's 12 inches in a foot, 12 hours in a day, AM, PM, you know. In music, 12-bar blues. It's the most prominent chord progression in world history. 12 pitch classes in an octave if you're a singer. 12 hues in a color wheel, 12 apostles, 12 tribes of Israel, 12 animals in Chinese astrology, 12-step programs. The highest hurricane force winds are called Force 12, much like the Seahawks defense, right? In mythology, 12 signifies progress and positive energy, and that is the Seahawks locker room vibe, isn't it? 12 is new beginnings. McDonald taking over in 2024. Harmonic partnerships, like his bond with general manager John Schneider. And look what we get. Another Super Bowl championship and another huge party for the city of Seattle, a day none of us will ever forget.
So fortunate to take in these moments and be a part of this city, and that, you know, our lives and our careers and our paths have brought us to this moment, and we get to celebrate with you, all the 12s. We're back here, you know, not in the parade. We're watching the parade and bringing it to you, but we want to thank you for being with us all season long and tuning into our coverage, because we've had so much going on. Frankie Thompson has been a part of his team covering it. She was out the night that the Super Bowl came to a final end with the Seahawks winning that Super Bowl 60.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Aaron, the energy that night was nothing like today. I'll tell you what, we're right behind the world-renowned Space Needle. When our world champions hoisted up that Lombardi trophy under the Space Needle, this place went nuts. There's no barricades, there's no fences out here, so people were bum rushing the street, just full of excitement, so much pride for their team. We saw all of our superstars pass through here. Of course, Sam Darnold, JSN, Walker. Everybody was just so full of joy. Even though this was a long parade, they still kept up that energy, and our fans here continued lining the streets, wanting to be part of that, taking this moment in history. You can hear this is exactly what we've been seeing all day. There we go. That's what we've been seeing all day, you guys. That's what we've been seeing all day. That's right. Go Hawks. It's all energy. It's all love. There's been so much excitement here. I mean, there's been no better way to end the parade than by the parade. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but the party is not stopping underneath the Space Needle. We're at Denny and Board right now. Seahawks, let's go. I mean, there's nothing else to say but that. Let's go Hawks. I'm going to send it back to you guys.
All right. right, Frankie. You know, the big issue now for a lot of folks becomes getting out of downtown. If you have 1 million people coming in, folks have to find a way out. The streets will be back open once the parade is over, we understand. Frankie, can you hear us once again? Do you have any details on the traffic plan now for folks that need to get out of the city?
Yeah, no details just yet on the traffic to get in and out of this area. We still see quite a bit of Seattle police. If we want to turn the camera over this way, Frank, we still see a lot of Seattle police barricading the streets just to make sure the players are getting out of this area first before they let all of the commuters, all of the travelers and 12s get out of here as well. So where we are, we're on the corner of 3rd between Broad and Denny, and that is where you can see Seattle police right now. So still a lot of foot traffic in this area. Most of the major roads are closed, but until then, this area is going to be blocked off. Once our Seahawks get out safely, then we can notice our streets will open up here. But for now, we don't have like a clear direction of what the traffic is going to look like right now.
6-7, right?